don't think that the nature of the request, it's not a fishing expedition. They're very precise. They're very specific.
Attorneys known for helping those who've been wrongfully convicted appearing in court today on behalf of Scott Peterson. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Today, lawyers with the LA Innocence Project requested new DNA testing they hope will prove Peterson did not kill his pregnant wife and unborn child. As KTVU's Henry Lee reports, the California case that drew national attention back in 2002 is now making headlines all over again.
I see Mr. Peterson trying to unmute, so give me a thumbs up if you can see us and hear us, please.
After some technical difficulties with Zoom, convicted double murderer Scott Peterson told the judge he was fine appearing remotely from state prison.
Absolutely. Thank you, Your Honor.
Peterson, his hair in a ponytail, was back in court with attorneys with the LA Innocence Project hoping DNA testing of evidence will undo his convictions for killing his pregnant wife Lacey and their unborn son Connor back in 2002. Their bodies washed ashore in Richmond. Although the family lived in Modesto, the trial was moved to Redwood City because of extensive publicity. On Tuesday, San Mateo County Judge Elizabeth Hill questioned why Stanislaus County prosecutors needed more time to hand over evidence in the case.
A lot of these items have been raised and litigated as part of the initial appeal.
David Harris, one of the original trial prosecutors, said Peterson had raised many of the same issues before, including during an unsuccessful attempt to get a new trial in 2022.
There's a lot of back and forth from the record, and there is going to be a large amount of reading for both sides.
Mr. Peterson has been waiting 20 years to find some of these police reports and audio recordings and video recordings that should have been provided.
Paula Mitchell, director of the LA Innocence Project, says her client never got key evidence, even during his original trial.
I don't think that the nature of the request, it's not a fishing expedition. They're very precise, they're very specific, and we believe that they are probably very easily accessible.
The judge set future court dates over the next few months. Peterson's sister-in-law, Janie, and her husband, Joe, attended the hearing, but declined to speak afterwards.
This is it for him. If they don't find anything, nobody else can do anything about this.
KTVU legal analyst Michael Cardoza says Peterson's previous lawyers raised concerns over juror misconduct and constitutional violations. This time, he says the defense has a different tack.
This is digging into the evidence. What did the police do? Did they look at all the evidence? Did they turn away from something that perchance was exculpatory?
Peterson was originally sentenced to death, which was set aside by the state Supreme Court because of a juror issue. He's now serving life in prison without parole. Scott Peterson is now 51 years old. He indicated he plans to attend all future court hearings via Zoom from Mule Creek State Prison in Amador County. In Redwood City, Henry Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
A Colorado Republican has decided to leave Congress early, and that decision creates a complicated path forward for the House GOP. And Congressman Ken Buck is not shying away from questions about his departure.
Did you give the speaker a heads up?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. A half hour before, I called and left him a message on his personal cell phone. Yes.
Can he talk you out of this?
What?
Can he talk you out of your decision?
About as well as he talked me into some of the votes.
And that's how Congressman Buck responded today when reporters asked about his plans to resign next week. He announced last year that he would leave office at the end of his term. His resignation will tighten the GOP's already razor-thin majority in the House, leaving Republicans with a 218 to 213 vote advantage. During an interview with CNN today, Congressman Buck said Capitol Hill has, quote, really devolved into this bickering and nonsense. Still, the congressman says he wants to stay involved in politics even after he leaves office. Vice President Kamala Harris touted the Biden administration's economic achievements during a campaign stop in Denver this afternoon. She said the president has worked to lower drug prices, including capping the price of insulin for seniors. And she added the administration has canceled nearly $138 billion in student debt for more than 4 million people. Also, the vice president said today the White House is working to curb gun violence.
And in memory of Columbine, Aurora, Uvalde, and Club Q, we continue, and we all continue, to fight for an assault weapons ban, universal background checks, and red flag laws.
Vice President Harris also criticized Republicans for blocking a bipartisan bill to improve border security and to allow a path to citizenship for Dreamers and other immigrants. An emotional tribute in Everett, Washington today. A large crowd showing up to pay their respects to State Patrol Trooper Christopher Gadd, who was killed on the job by a suspected DUI driver. Today's services honoring Trooper Gadd included a 2-hour-long procession with law enforcement from across the United States and Canada. Fox 13's Lauren Donovan shows us how the trooper is being remembered.
These blocks have been barricaded for hours, and now a sea of squad cars fills the streets. I'll step aside so you can get a better idea as to the scale of this display. It's hard to say just how many are here, but I'd bet at least 100. Onlookers, some of them friends and family, others complete strangers, came out to pay their respects. It's been powerful.
A loss that's this unimaginable creates a void.
An American flag hangs heavy over the casket of Christopher Gadd, as does an air of mourning here in Everett.
Chris took the world by the reins, and he just did it. He had the highest GPA in his academy class. He was chosen as graduation speaker. He loved his job, and he did it very well.
Those who knew him since he was a kid will tell you the 27-year-old was a bright star, a young father tragically killed serving his community.
He wasn't just a bystander. Chris was a man of action, actively loving his wife and his daughter.
Families, no strangers to this sacrifice, hold each other close.
Just to see all the support that they have, and it's just overwhelming for me. My son's a deputy for Snohomish County.
Fearful fathers reflect on the risk with great admiration.
I worry about him every time he goes out. Every time I see him, I tell him I love him.
The service members you see flanking the entrance to Angel of the Winds Arena came from all over. Dressed in green, grays, blues, and blacks, their uniforms vary, as do the badges pinned to their chests. From the north came the Canadians, Iowans from out east, and from the south, 13 officers from the Texas Department of Safety. Gadd's sister serves alongside them in the Lone Star State.
I did that because I actually had a chance to meet Chris at his sister's graduation. There is that family connection with Chris's father, David, still currently serving. I mean, we have that family bond.
And a family that has offered that service with unquestioned valor, and tragically now, unfathomable sacrifice.
The impressive procession spanned from the Tulalip Casino south to downtown Everett. All that saw it pass, all who heard the bagpipes play, surely felt the gravity of Gadd's passing.
It's not fair, and it's not right, but it was with a servant's heart that Chris lived.
An EMT, a volunteer firefighter, a man in French blue, beaming proudly behind the badge.
Rest easy, Chris. We'll hold the line.
Reporting in Everett, Lauren Donovan, Fox 13 News.
And bail has been set at $1 million for the suspected DUI driver who was accused of hitting Trooper Gadd's patrol car. He's been charged with vehicular homicide and vehicular assault while under the influence. An Afghan refugee accused of killing 3 Muslim men in Albuquerque appeared in court today. Here's video from a previous court appearance. 53-year-old Mohammed Syed is charged with 3 counts of murder. Authorities say Syed shot and killed 3 men in separate ambush-style attacks in the summer of 2022. Syed faces separate trials for each of those victims. The first victim, 41-year-old Aftab Hussein, was shot and killed just outside of his apartment. The other trials will happen in the coming months. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Rap, mistakes on a tribute to NBA legend Kobe Bryant. Ahead, fans sound off on the problems as the Lakers scramble to figure out how to fix that statue.
As a teacher, it makes me a little sad.
My gosh, it's no one's thing to do proofreading.
And up next tonight, we will have your full forecast all across the West as we give you this live look here at LAX tonight. The forecast is coming up. Plus, we're going to tell you about another story in Colorado where students are learning to use artificial intelligence to solve some real-world problems. The courses that are helping them to understand the capabilities of AI. Polls will be closing soon in 2 West Coast states holding presidential primary elections today. Voters are casting ballots in Hawaii and Washington, along with Mississippi and Georgia. Polls will be closing in less than an hour in Washington, and there are nearly 3 hours of voting left to happen in Hawaii. Already, the Associated Press is projecting wins for President Biden in Mississippi and Georgia, and that gives him enough delegates to clinch the Democratic nomination. Former President Trump has won in Mississippi and Georgia, and he is close to becoming the presumptive Republican nominee. Next week, voters in 7 more states and 2 U.S. territories will hold their nominating contests, and Arizona is among them. The CEO of TikTok is on Capitol Hill meeting with lawmakers this week as the debate over that popular app heats up. Congress is moving closer to passing legislation that would separate the app from the Chinese government. There is bipartisan support for the bill in the House, and President Biden has said he would sign it into law. But there are mixed views of the legislation over in the Senate.
It's not going to pass through the Senate just immediately because it passed through the House.
Hopefully one thing we can agree upon in a bipartisan way is that China's our chief adversary, and why we would allow them to have an AI weapon aimed at the United States of America and our kids is beyond me.
Before that bill heads to a vote, TikTok CEO will wrap up meetings with lawmakers in Washington. It's still unclear who on Capitol Hill he is meeting with. Some teenagers in Colorado are getting a crash course in artificial intelligence. Fox's Kennedy Hayes shows us what they're learning that could impact how they use that technology in the future.
The course here attracts students from all across the school district. Its goal is to teach students how to use AI to solve real-world problems.
Ideas for how we could change the overall look of the car.
Teaching high schoolers how to experiment with AI.
From learning about it to getting the parts, to learning how to solder, to actually wiring everything together, it's definitely been hard.
Senior Aiden Buchanan says he is working on installing an AI camera on a self-driving car.
And a big part in the AI self-driving car curriculum is camera-based detection, like detecting a stop sign or a stoplight.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Teacher Mai Vu says in her class, students learn how AI algorithms work and how they are coded.
It's everywhere, from the music they listen to, be it Spotify, from what they're seeing, Netflix, but they just don't know that AI is working in the background.
Vu says one of her class's partners is the AI Education Project. The nonprofit works with schools across the country, guiding students and teachers on how to use AI responsibly.
Today, it's very, very obvious. And so people are understanding a little bit more clearly, like, wow, this is something that's really changing, changing education, changing the workforce. I don't really know a lot about it.
Students entering the course first learn AI basics. Vu says then they create and track their own AI projects. Students say they look forward to learning more about what AI can do.
It does things that people spend hours to do in a small amount of time, and I think it's a really cool thing to work with as someone who's still in high school.
Vu tells me another example of a student project is a gaming app that teaches French. Any student can join, and they can take as long as they need to finish their projects. In Longmont, Colorado, Kennedy Hayes, Fox News.
Steady snowfall outside of Salt Lake City with new storms expected to move across Utah through tomorrow. Enough snow fell in the Cottonwood Canyons area today that it created some travel delays for people who are traveling to and from the ski resorts there. This system that is moving across the west is expected to dump a lot of snow on Colorado starting tomorrow. For more, let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Mark Tamayo, who is tracking that system and a bit of a shift in the weather pattern for a lot of people across the west.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. The pattern is changing around a bit, and as you can see behind me, as you were just talking about, we do have some more snow for Colorado expected. In fact, a winter storm warning for all these areas in white, including Denver. So this begins 9 p.m. Wednesday until 6 a.m. on Friday. You can see one of the forecast models bringing in actually a bit of some measurable snowfall in Denver. So this could be disrupting travel as we head into especially Thursday. So that snowstorm will be developing later in the day tomorrow and into Thursday. Here's a look at the rain and snow forecast. As you can clearly see, the main action is moving out of Utah and moving into portions of Colorado. The rest of the West is actually fairly quiet with the exception of some stronger winds that will be developing over the next 24 hours. You can see the main action once again out toward parts of Arizona, Colorado, and New Mexico. So here's the big picture, the satellite. We are showing you this with some trough up here up in the Pacific Northwest, some cool air. This is all headed down toward Colorado over the next 24 to 48 hours, at least impacting their weather. Now, we talked about the winds, a wind advisory for all these areas in yellow, high wind watches out toward the Sierra, out toward portions of Southern California. So we could have winds going up above 40, up above 50 miles an hour. In Seattle today, we're showing you all the cloud cover, temperatures in the upper 40s, so still somewhat of a cool, cloudy pattern, as you can see. In San Francisco, still some clouds throughout the day. A little impulse moved through earlier today, producing some rain showers, temperatures 60 degrees. And in Southern California, lots of sunshine. This is nearby Santa Monica with Los Angeles, a high of 66 degrees. They will have the increasing winds later in the day, Wednesday night and into Thursday. So here's the plan tomorrow. Partly sunny skies up in Seattle. This system, as you can see, dropping down, and this will definitely produce some more cloud cover out toward Colorado and some rain chances for Denver. Clearing skies for San Francisco. It is sunny and mild for Southern California, also out toward portions of Arizona. But this area of high pressure, which will bring dry weather, that'll set the stage for that stronger wind event developing, especially Wednesday night and into Thursday. So here is the breakdown. As you can see, for Seattle, they get a break in the rainfall, which is the sun-cloud mix over the next several days. Lots of sunshine for San Francisco. For Southern California, we'll probably have partly sunny conditions and some gusty winds, but probably the biggest deal over the next few days will be out toward Denver. They will have some more snowfall, some accumulating snowfall as we head into Thursday, and that could continue into Friday as well. So they get the action in terms of the winter weather, but it'll start to feel like spring for other parts of the West Coast, especially for San Francisco and also for Southern California over the next several days.
Yeah, nice little warm-up for a lot of folks. Mark, thank you. Strawberry farms in California are facing some problems because of recent rainstorms. Fox 5's Zara Barker tells us how the wet weather is affecting strawberry production near San Diego.
The variety we grow is called Albion. It's a very old variety, but it's sweeter than the new varieties.
They're pretty and sweet, but not quite ready to eat.
We'll never make up for that lost time.
Jimmy Ukigawa, the third-generation owner of Carlsbad Strawberry Company, says this year's harsh winter and rain hurt strawberry production.
From flower to ripe fruit is normally about 4 to 5 weeks. But at this stage, the strawberries are very delicate. And if we get a big storm or a big raindrop hits it, we can get a misshapen strawberry like this one. This is not a number 1 strawberry, so we would throw it in with the number 2s or pick it for juice.
He says the abnormal amount of rain cut their strawberry harvest down from 8 months to just 5.
So we lost out on most of our January production and our February production. So we're really far behind this year.
Because of the recent storms, the Carlsbad Strawberry Company says they've lost out on about 80 boxes of strawberries per acre. And with 20 acres of farming, that's a loss of about 160,000 pounds of strawberries.
An inch of rain will cause anything turning red to go bad. So really, we had the same amount of labor. We were just having to pick it off and throw it away. So we just had no income because we weren't able to sell anything. So it made it really rough.
And just north in Oceanside, it's a similar story.
While we do have some ripe strawberries, they're few and far between, so we actually had to postpone this year's season.
Michelle Castellano's family has been farming since 1925 and growing strawberries for the public to harvest since 2020.
This field that we're standing in is our strawberry U-pick field.
But this year, they also have to delay their opening.
This plant right here, we've got some little babies that haven't turned red yet, and what's happened for the last couple of weeks is they've slowed down. So during a U-pick season, we would see a whole plant like that full of red strawberries like this, whereas those are still white and growing. They need a couple of more weeks.
I have a feeling we're about to get into good weather, and and it'll straighten out some. So we'll make the most of it, and that's farming.
Both the Milano Farm Stand in Oceanside and Carlsbad Strawberry Company are hoping to reopen their U-Pick strawberry fields in the coming weeks. But here in Carlsbad, the Carlsbad Strawberry Company just opened up their stand, so you can come by and pick up some of the strawberries that they are able to harvest until they reopen their strawberry fields in the coming weeks. Reporting in Carlsbad, I'm Zara Barker.
Fighting over an armrest on a crowded airplane, something we are all familiar with. Coming up tonight, how one airline is offering passengers an option to avoid that cramped situation. Also, how fans spotted some problems with a recently unveiled statue honoring Lakers legend Kobe Bryant. Mega Millions players have a shot at winning $735 million tonight. The jackpot is the 6th biggest prize in the game's history. Only 5 winning jackpots have been higher. All of those exceeded $1 billion. Mega Millions tickets are sold in all West Coast states with the exception of Hawaii, Alaska, Nevada, and Utah. Tonight, the Los Angeles Lakers say they are working on a plan to correct some problems with a recently unveiled statue of NBA legend Kobe Bryant. Fox 11's Christy Fajardo spoke to fans about the series of mistakes in plain view.
The unveiling of the Kobe Bryant statue was a star-studded celebration of a legend. No detail was spared, except maybe one.
My gosh, it's no one's thing to do proofreading.
Now people are staring, pointing, and laughing. And the typos on the statue are the newest photo op at Crypto.com Arena.
People just gotta proofread their thing, you know what I mean?
Well, at least Kobe's name is spelled correctly. Not so for Von Wafer, who's listed as Vom, and Jose Calderon is Calderson. Then there's this error even spell check should have caught.
And I remember Von Wafer. I did not know about the decision part, which is really funny. And as a teacher, it makes me a little sad.
Whoever wrote this likely would have gotten a D, and the Casanova family thinks they might know the engraver.
We were kind of laughing because sometimes his brother makes some typos.
Do you know how to spell decision?
D-E-C-I-S-I-O-N.
They should have hired you.
Yeah.
He's available.
And although fans wish their number one had gotten the number one proofreader, they think the imperfect statue would have pleased even Kobe, who was known as a perfectionist.
He's a pretty kind guy. I feel like he would have just been okay with it or told him to fix it.
I'm a Mets fan, and they messed up the Tom Seaver statue. There's a lot of details that go into this stuff, so I've got nothing but love for all the people that are involved with it.
And that was Fox 11's Christy Fajardo reporting for us tonight. This is just the first of 3 statues that will honor Kobe Bryant outside of Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles. And finally tonight, a little more room for some passengers on Frontier flights, but at a price. Today, the Colorado-based airline rolled out its Upfront Plus seating option. Customers who are willing to pay just a little bit more will be guaranteed a window or aisle seat with extra leg room and an empty middle seat. The upgrade starts at $49 and it goes up from there depending on your flight. Frontier executives consider this a way to cater to customers who want expanded personal space and extra comfort. That does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. We will see you back here tomorrow night.